A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord, and in our headlines, relaxed restrictions result in the reopening of some businesses and the beaches. The price of gas and other petroleum products goes down. Big plans for the black belly sheep and sea island cotton. And in sports, Tokyo 2020 dealt another setback as the COVID-19 state of emergency in Japan is extended.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
In our top story, today signaled the start of Phase 2 of government's COVID-19 measures within the Public Health Emergency Act. It featured a cautious and phased reopening of some of the island's sectors and businesses. Shane Jones joins us live now to navigate through what it all means. Good evening, Shane.
Hi, good evening, Lisa. Well, you're absolutely correct. It was a phased opening with some measures relaxed, a bit of tweaking and additional protocols. So what I want to do tonight is highlight and explain 6 new measures that have been introduced in Phase 2 so you can better understand what is expected of you during this period. So let's start with a big one. Barbadians can access additional non-essential services while observing previously established restricted movement guidelines. And what does that last part mean? Simple. The assigned days of the alphabetical system with specific time periods still stands. So even though there has been a reopening of sorts, you must still access services based on the first letter of your surname.
So let's delve into that alphabetical system. Does it still stand for all businesses?
Lisa, that's a good question because lots of people are asking it. Now, the system does have some exemptions. Those are village shops, businesses from which you can buy inputs or construction projects, and pharmacies. So let's now look at some of those places that you can go to. Listen carefully. You can leave home to purchase medical and pharmaceutical supplies and to have a prescription filled, to seek medical or dental attention, and to work in or transact business with an essential service or a business that is now exempt from this directive, Lisa.
So, Shane, what was the response like on day one? Were Barbadians out and about?
Of course, you know how we are, very much so. Our teams observed Barbadians taking advantage of some of the businesses now exempt. Actually, they were seen observing social distancing protocols while gradually being able to slip back into receiving some of the services that they've become accustomed to. And we were also able to catch up with some of the businesses that were able to reopen.
Kind of just adjusting back into like the working mood, getting up early, packing lunch and everything beforehand. Packing lunch now is a readjustment because sometimes you enjoy lunch, but you can't do that now. So you just pack your lunch and get it right there. Waking up early is something new to me.
Customers coming in slowly, but surely, because everybody still has to come out to get a few beauty products and stuff. I wanted to get, so yeah.
It's mixed feelings right now because even though we've come, we opened the store, it's really very quiet out there. A lot of stores are closed. Yeah. But yeah, we have to start somewhere and following the protocol of the government's directives.
Well, Lisa, one of the things that stood out when we went around and saw those people today was that whether it was a worker or customer, people just seem to be happy to be moving around to places again. Okay, so Lisa, one of the next big changes is the curfew time. Remember, we were on a 6 to 6 curfew, so commit this one to memory. The new nighttime lockdown period is 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. I think that's self-explanatory. Be inside by 8 p.m. and don't come back outside before 5 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up because I think a lot of people still had the idea that it was full free movement again.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect segue into the next point I want to bring up, Lisa. We all saw the pictures of beaches this morning, and there were some people who felt they could stay there the entire day. I'm here to tell you that's not so. Barbadians can access beaches only between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. and a physical distance of 6 feet must be observed between individuals unless they are members of the same household. So the next thing, Lisa, is that while intoxicating liquor can now be sold on licensed properties only, consumption on those properties is prohibited. So that's why the bars are still closed, i.e. keep out the rum shops. So you can buy the drink of your choice, but go home and drink it. Now, on to a question that I discussed with a family member only this morning, at least. Outdoor exercise is now permitted, but you cannot be in a group larger than 3 people, and physical distancing must be maintained. So you can work out outdoors, but please, no more than 3 people at a time, and keep your distance. And the last point I want to touch on is that since more places are now open, meaning that possibly more people will be moving around, buses and PSVs will operate at 60% occupancy, and all people taking public transportation must wear masks. So there you have it, Lisa. Those are just some of the protocols to be observed in the new directive of Phase 2, and I hope that clears things up a bit.
Definitely, Shane. Very comprehensive. Thank you so much, as always. Well, scores of Barbadians headed to beaches across the island this morning to capitalize on the first partial reopening under the new COVID-19 measures. Under the arrangements, people are allowed to go to the beaches between 6 and 9 a.m., as you just heard. Some told CBC they were happy to have the chance to take a dip yet again and just be out with their family.
It was nice on the beach this morning. Lots of people, but it was great. Good. It wonderful, man. Breeze. The air, everything nice.
So I can't wait for the boat. I can't wait.
I feel great. Beach. Everybody social distancing. Everything going nice.
We're good. We really get out in like 6 weeks, so we don't get a chance to go around get a little bit. So we feel really good.
Well, 2 people were set to be released from isolation today after 2 consecutive negative tests for COVID-19. This as no new cases have been recorded from among the 38 tests carried out by the Besto Santos Public Health Lab yesterday. The number of recoveries is now 46 and the number in isolation now reduced to 29. The national total of positive cases is 82 and 7 deaths have been recorded. The number of tests carried out so far is 2,458. Well, the retail prices of gasoline, diesel, and kerosene have decreased. Gasoline has been adjusted from $3.57 per liter to $3.09 per liter. That's 48 cents less. The price of diesel dropped by 37 cents from $2.89 per liter to $2.52 per liter. And kerosene has gone from $1.01 per liter to 73 cents per liter, a reduction of 28 cents. And these price adjustments are in keeping with government's policy of allowing retail prices to be reflective of those on the international market. Efforts to increase the black belly sheep population and production of Sea Island cotton are to be ramped up over the next few years. This is according to Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Indar Weir. He was a guest on this week's edition of The People's Business, which examined the topic COVID-19, the impact on agriculture. Sharika Griffith reports.
Prior to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Agriculture, through its Brokopondo partnership with Suriname, was planning to begin rapid expansion of the black belly sheep numbers in Barbados. Agriculture Minister Indar Weir says the target is 1 million over a 7-year period.
The government has gone ahead to make sure we can increase production, moving black belly sheep production to 1 million heads and increasing cotton production in Barbados under the BAMC to 2,000 acres because we see the value. And this is where we are going. The BAMC has already started. They have gone back up. Cotton had dropped down to just about 100 acres, I think. We are back up now to 300. We're going to double that in 2020. And by the end of this term, we should be on our way back up to 2,000 acres of cotton production in Barbados.
While there was general consensus among panelists that the agricultural sector is not dying, there were differing opinions on the use of technology in the sector. Executive Director of Farm Finder Global Inc., Lorenzo Harewood, believes it has been underutilized.
I'm working with an entity in Asia. We're looking at utilizing drones and doing things like spraying as well, whether you're spraying chemical or organic pesticides or insecticides as well. That is an area that has not been significantly utilized in Barbados, and you can use almost up to a third of the amount of liquid that you're using if you just walk through the fields and spray them. So I want to agree that I understand, given the capacity that some farmers may have, they may think that they're utilizing the most modern technology, but this COVID has showcased, and even before that, that we are not really up to date in terms of some areas that we ought to be as well.
However, Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, does not agree.
I would debate anyone who will want to say that the farmers, the participants in the sector, have not kept up to date with developments in technology as relates to cultivation of crops, as relates to animal husbandry. We have consistently over the years sought to advance the sector and maintain certain efficiencies in the sector by the use of technology.
During the program, the minister also revealed that plans to bring an additional 750 acres of land back into production are going extremely well, and some farmers have begun to reap crops such as onions and watermelons. He estimates that by year end, there should be 2,000 acres of land in full production. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
A police operation in Flat Rock, St. George resulted in at least one person being taken into custody. Our videographer, Chris Wood, was just in time to capture the lawmen carrying out their duties. When contacted, Police Public Relations Officer, Acting Inspector Rodney Innes, told CBC News the action was in relation to a series of incidents which police are investigating. Noting that the investigations are still at an early stage, he did confirm that shots were fired, although he could not say if by police or other persons. He added that as far as police were aware, no one was injured. Now, during the St. George operation, at least one person was detained by officers. Acting Inspector Innes said he intends to provide a full statement on the situation as soon as possible. The search for 16-year-old Amali Mears, who went missing at sea in the Bashiba area, is over. His body washed ashore on a beach near Tent Bay, from where he had set off with 3 others to go free diving on Friday. Now, a massive search and rescue operation was undertaken over the past few days, but no signs or sightings were made until this morning, when he was found around 6 o'clock. The discovery was made by a resident of the area and fisherman Curtis Oliver.
This morning when I come over the hill there, my dog pulled up my hand. I went straight from the hill there barking. So when I look over, I see a Mali body. But my dog know a Mali because he always by me every day, right? So he know his scent, so he pick up his scent and he come there, so I bark.
With the news of the discovery, members of the close-knit community gathered in the area. Attorney General Dale Marshall, who is also the MP for St. Joseph, has been on the scene over the course of the search. He described Amali as an amazing young man and student. Mr. Marshall says the incident is an absolute tragedy.
This is a very difficult time to lose a loved one. This is a community that I'm sure would count in its hundreds for any funeral. But in this time of COVID, that is obviously not going to be possible. So as a community, we have to find a way to celebrate Amali's life. It is fair, I suppose, to say that he died doing something that he loved. And for the seas in the area which he loved to give up his body this morning is a special sign to all of us. But now we have to mourn and then let the healing begin.
Well, Amali's dad, Melvin Mears, reached out to CBC expressing thanks to the Barbados Coast Guard, the Game Fishing Association, the various dive clubs, divers, the media, friends and family who took part in the search and gave support to him and his wife at this difficult and trying time. A husband and wife are homeless after fire destroyed the 2-bedroom chattel house they called home. Police say Dale and Natalie Mon occupied the house located at 4th Avenue, Peterkins Land, St. Michael, which is owned by Natalie's grandmother, 98-year-old Myrtle Beckles. Around 25 minutes to midday yesterday, Mr. Mon was reportedly in bed when he heard his wife screaming fire. He tried to extinguish the blaze, but it spread quickly and he was forced to run outside. 3 water tenders along with 12 fire officers under the command of Divisional Officer Fields responded to the call and extinguished the blaze at about 1:45. The house was insured. The homes of neighbors David O'Neill, Marva Phillips, Leonard Seal and Benjamin Fraser received damage as a result of the heat from the blaze. Here is that tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Maintain at least a 6 feet distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Cooperators General Insurance, encouraging you to stay home and stay safe. Regional news now. In Trinidad and Tobago, there are doubts about whether Carnival 2021 will be held as the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic continues. More from TTT Online.
While a part of the population had called for the cancellation of Carnival 2020, it went on as there was no immediate threat of the dreaded COVID-19 to these shores. But with over 3 million cases worldwide and no vaccine in sight, the discussion has already begun about Carnival 2021. Dr. Sandra Reid, who is a senior lecturer at the University of the West Indies, hinted the decision on Carnival must be made carefully, as Carnival plays an important role.
This phenomenon fills a human need for belonging. It promotes happiness and societal connectedness. It serves as an effective coping mechanism for some people. Careful decisions have to be made about Carnival 2021.
Dr. Reid also hinted that Carnival may need to be celebrated differently come next year.
And one may opine that mass gatherings are unlikely to happen. While there may be no mass congregating in February 2021, with the attendant lost opportunity for collective effervescence, the rumbling of creativity has already begun to take place to continue showcasing the cultural spectacle of Carnival.